Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gamesline Podcast. We're here, episode 44 or 45. I'd have to double check, but I know every time we start up one of these friggin' things, it's me saying it's been a while, but it has been, 44. But it has been, but we're here, we're ready to chat about games. It's been a pretty hectic time, I will say, lately. Personally, for me, I have had multiple jobs in the political sphere, and, that just kind of led up, like, a few days ago. I know that election day was, like 2 weeks ago now, or a week and a half, but, that shit simmers. So I'm just now free from that. But that means that I'm here to talk about games. And with me this time is Lorelai. Hello, Lorelai.
Yeah, I'm back to talk about games, and I'm very excited about it.
And Maverick. Maverick, how are you?
Oh, God. I'm like... Again, I shudder at the idea about seeing when the last time my name popped up in one of these, and how long that's been.
That's true, but you're here now. That's what matters.
That I am. I am.
So, let's just get right into it. It's been a hot minute. It's been a really, really hot minute. I would even go so far to say. I mean, you know, I talked about what I've just been working so much, doing. Let me tell you, doing canvas calls, I don't like it very much, but I did what I had to do. And that's what I was doing. But it gave me some time to game too, a little on the side. Maverick, I know that you did some traveling. Do you want to speak on that?
Yeah. So between just a week ago for my birthday, I went and stayed in Japan for a week. It all, you know how like when something bad happens and you kind of think like I deserve a treat.
Yes.
After a very stressful series of events at the end of the summer, that treat ended up being a affordable hotel and a flight that I'm still paying off, but I'm okay with it because I just had an entire week doing something that I thought I just was like gonna have to wait a lot longer to get to. And oh my God, just the experience. It's funny. I did not do that much gaming in this experience, but kind of just like leaned into, you know, the various little like paths I could just like find myself going on. I guess like I'm curious. Like, do y'all have any questions for me just about like what that experience was like?
I mean, you know, like how was the trip and that like how was the trip there and back? Like I know that it's a long flight. And then, you know, I'm especially curious about food. I want to hear what you ate.
Yeah. No, so the trip there was really nice, or managed, like very manageable. So that is always going to be the priciest part, I think, of just the whole trip to Japan. Just actually getting there. The second most expensive is probably finding a place to stay. But even then, that becomes a lot more manageable of a price tag to follow. So the flight was... So I had a direction of, like, I started in JFK. That's just always my immediate, like, airline of choice at this point. Just with... Or airport, just with, like, the distance and all that. I take a flight from JFK into Minneapolis. I have a bit of a layover. I try, they got a local chain there, Caribou Coffee, that I got to try for the first time. Ooh. Very sweet, but I don't know, I like it. I snapped a quick picture and sent it to a friend of mine from college who always like talked it up because he was from Minnesota. And I was like, yeah, you know what, you're right. This is really nice. And he was like, Maverick, where the fuck are you? And I was like, oh, yeah, by the way. Then there is a 13-hour flight from Minneapolis, St. Paul, straight down to Haneda Airport.
Jeez.
It was tough, but I mean, kind of just like loaded up on manga, loaded up on other just like things to keep myself busy. There's a bit of time where I was kind of just like measuring the time because like I was planning to land in Japan basically around like middle of the afternoon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. And we were actually getting there a little bit sooner than anticipated. I think my original itinerary had us there at like 2:30. I was touching down by like 1:30, but still kind of had like the bulk of that travel. So eventually I just kind of like forced myself to get some sleep to try and just like force my brain into that so that I could be a little bit closer to just like the clock in Japan a little bit.
Yeah.
Because later that night, I had a show to go to. The freak that I am, not only was I already having to like check into my hotel, get everything set up, do all that. Later that night, I was going down to Shimokitazawa, which is like a little bit away from where I was staying at. So for context, the whole week I was primarily in Tokyo. Specifically had a hotel over in Ikebukuro, which, to give an idea, because I think the structure, especially in Japan, is interesting to think about just like how its transit system is very just like, there's a reason it's like well-loved in the country, like overall, for one thing. But especially in Tokyo, there's such a way that like it goes very naturally into like the landscape. So you have the airport, you have Narita and Haneda. Haneda is the closer one of the two, so I kind of was just like, yeah, let me like land right in there. Basically, the airport is like built kind of like off the coast, and so as you're getting through baggage claim, customs, doing all the processes to actually get into the country, once you're at the point that you are like free to, you know, actually get out of the airport, a lot of stuff to figure out. So for me, you know, getting money, which easiest thing in the world. 7-Eleven ATMs are abundant, and you can basically put your card in, ask, like, you can get it all done in English if you are like native English speaker, get it so that you are selecting like a specific amount of yen. You can do up to like 50,000 yen, which is like $300 about. And then it'll show you like the different exchange rates. Always opt for yen, because basically your bank will like add up the different exchange rates after the fact, and it'll just end up a little bit cheaper than if you kind of like have it all exchanged right there. But basically, like, Japan is predominantly a cash-based like economic system still. There's still places that take card, but for the most part, like, you're going to be using a lot of yen, you're going to be using a lot of coins. And I'm glad that I prepped for that, and it really became clear like as I was deep in it. But even with that, I probably did not spend more than like $1,000 in this trip. If I had to guess, yeah. Between, well, excluding like paying for my hotel, excluding like the actual cost for the ticket, the actual time I was spending there, I maybe had to use the ATM like 3 times total in the week. And it was pretty like solid to actually get stuff like to get around. From that, so you get your money. You, in my case, I had to figure out just like phone plan stuff where Verizon hooked me up with something, and it worked out for the most part. Normally, if you have a phone that like is able to, you can get an eSIM for cheap, and that's like usually the easiest way to go around. But you have data, you have your money, now you have to have the means to get around. But I also had a very big luggage that I had to like take care of. Didn't want to lug that around with me for the actual trip to my subway or to my hotel. So what I was able to do was basically at the airport, they have these like, or they had a system for like luggage delivery, and it's a whole like local Yamato Transport. And it's like the Japanese delivery service, and one of their services is like the Takubin, which is basically getting to just ship luggage to wherever accommodations you need to, and specifically as well from like the airport to the hotel. Told me it was going to take a day, so was like, okay, cool. Rearranged my backpack, like my carry-on bag, so that I had like a spare change of clothes for the day that I would have to wait, and like super easy, super reliable. I'm trying to remember the price for that, but it wasn't like anything that was going to like, you know, cudgel the bank for the rest of the week. Like it was manageable. And eventually I get to my hotel, I get things accommodated, I go out for the show that night, have a really good time. It is packed. Went to go see Jeff Rosenstock. He played 2 nights.
Hell yeah.
Very fun. Very wild shows. The first one was in Shelter at Shimokitazawa, which, if you may know, is the like basis of Starry, the club in Bocchi the Rock.
Oh, fuck. That's good as hell.
It was good as hell. Yeah. It was fucking packed, because like that is definitely a venue for like bands that can draw like 50 people, maybe. There was well over 50 people. It was overflowing.
Hell yes.
But it was so much fun. Second night is over in Ogikubo, which is a little different area. Like, not too far out, kind of like parallel to where Shimokitazawa is, but like more of a proper like club venue. You have some space. Crowd was still energetic. Like people were moshing. I was definitely in the pit. There is footage out there that you can find of me in the pit, but I will not share where you can find it. I just know that it exists, and a lot of great local bands. The next day, that Saturday is actually where I met up with Franny, because they also had some time out in Japan. I think they had gotten out like the week before me, and so they're heading out on Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, and so we're like predominantly going to be on the flight while, you know, everything surrounding the election was happening, which, but no, so we link up that day. It was rainy as hell. I'm not going to lie. It was, horrible day. Like we were soaked, but then that whole like night really made up for it in the end. And then Sunday we take Sunday was my actual birthday, and I kind of just took that as a walking day. I like was doing just like a whole trek around Shibuya to Shinjuku, and then going up to like Harajuku, and from all that didn't realize that November 3rd is also Culture Day in Japan, and so there were a lot of just like little cultural festivals and people hanging out. It was really interesting. My crazy ass decided, oh well, I'm here, you know, let me actually get out of Tokyo a little bit, because this is where I'm going to end my trip. I might as well like see where else I can go. And so Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are my like big travel days. Monday, I go down to Hakone, which is more of a like resort space, like a little like a resort town. It has this whole loop where basically you get in from the station. It's like a 90-minute train ride for the limited express romance car from Tokyo to Hakone. From there, you take this other train. I kind of just like hopped in too, because I was like, oh fuck, I guess I gotta like take this to do like the loop that's intended. that is also a like separate pass that you can buy online. Like, God, there's so much to speak about this like whole trip, but the biggest highlight is like getting around just on a smartphone is so doable. And the web infrastructure is done in such a way that like navigating websites to get to where you need to, little cumbersome because you kind of like are hoping for like a solid English translation sometimes, but like you can buy tickets, you'll have stuff that's just sitting on your phone. I had like multiple tabs open just to like go through like, oh, here's my like one pass, here's my like QR code that I have to show off if I'm like getting onto this specific like ride, or not ride, but like mode of transport for like this little piece or whatever. And it was just like all super manageable, and it didn't feel like cumbersome, especially because a lot of the net infrastructure is really reliable. And so it was rare that I like didn't have access to either a free Wi-Fi spot and just, you know, had to like sign up with my email address or whatever, or just like had reliable like coverage otherwise. So really interesting there. The Hakone loop basically was like, I get out of the station, I go to one train that is just going along the local like foliage forestry, gets to a point that like quite physically the car cannot navigate any higher. So it has to do multiple switchbacks to get to the various other stations. And at the last one, there's like a little resort area, a little like place to rest, get some souvenirs. If you want to get further up, then you take the cable cart. And it's like this whole like trolley system that's like on the side of like the actual mountain, and you just go up it. It has the multiple like spots to get off as well, but you're just going up this whole incline, and eventually you get to the next rest area. You can take some photos from there. If you want to get even further up, you take the ropeway, which is like the full on like dangling like suspension like cable cars that take you further up. You pass by like the hot springs and like the actual like pits of like sulfur that are in Hakone, because like those are what actually funnel the water of like the local onsen and like what make it a very prestigious like hot spring town. And when you get to like the peak of there, and you'll have like little warnings that are like, hey, watch out, maybe don't do this if you're like partial to volcanic gas and like the emittance there. Which I'm like, you know, I'll see. You take another car down a little bit, and you're level to the lakeside. And from the lakeside, you can actually get across the lake on a full-on like pirate cruise ship. And all of this is using the same like 1 day pass for all of the transport. And I'm like just taking all these photos. I'm like hanging out. It was just so much fun to like do all of this travel. And by the end of it, kind of a shitty bus ride back to like the main station, just with like all the traffic, because like Monday was a public holiday, so you just had a lot of like families basically rushing to get back home before the next day, which would be like full work day, school day, and all that. Before I left, I did have time to go to the local onsen, and oh my god, dog, that changes you.
I bet.
Like it is a crime that we don't have that available in the US.
Yeah.
Or that it is only available as like a very expensive luxury offer. Because like the admittance to go to a onsen is like 2,000 yen. So like $20, $15.
Yeah.
And like, oh god, it was so good. I'm so glad that I like pushed myself to actually do that. And then the next day, I get up bright and early. So like while I'm sitting on like the bus to get back to the station, and it's like all this like traffic, in the back of my head, I'm kind of like, yeah, I could maybe travel tomorrow. How hard would that be? And so I book like Shinkansen tickets for Kyoto and a return trip from Osaka. And those are my next 2 days. And so I actually get onto the bullet train. It's like a 2-3 hour ride down to Kyoto. I do maybe like a very small fraction of what there is to do in Kyoto because it is so huge and so vast. But I had so much fun checking out Kiyomizu-dera Temple. There's this little like underpass you can try and walk into that is like pitch black. And the only thing that like you can navigate with is like this beaded handrail to the left of you. It was a very like visceral experience. I also went to the Fushimi Inari Shrine, which has like the 1,000 torii gates, all of like the Fox memorabilia, like just really awesome to experience there. By the end of that day, I take like the local transit, which is like an hour to get to Osaka, and I book a hotel for that night, which is like $50. I lucked out in that hotel had its own like local like hot tub public bath kind of a deal. So I like mind you, I am like on my feet for like all of those like 3-4 days. I am like actively aching. But I'm like I want to keep doing more. I want to keep doing more. And so that night I like at least get to rest there. My Wednesday, y'all's Tuesday, I am in Osaka. I go to the aquarium for the morning, and that's when like the brunt of like the info cycle is happening. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of nice to disconnect a little bit, like getting all the news, and we were definitely like having our own just like conversations just around like, well, what is this going to mean? What are we going to expect? And just a lot of this like very well understood anxiety, but also kind of having the very immediate like opportunity to just unplug from that and kind of like check out the penguins, check out the giant whale shark, just have this whole little like experience of just like having a very immediate nature exposure. And then from there, you know, I go to Dotonbori. I get some takoyaki, of course. I'm just like walking around, hanging out. I do a lot of like souvenir shopping, which I didn't plan to, but it really just lucked out that like a lot of places I would have wanted to hit did end up in like that little stretch. And then the rest of the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm just still in Tokyo. I'm kind of like giving myself some easier walking days. Yeah, it was just so much fun to have a like first glimpse. And I didn't realize after the fact, I kind of came back and have sort of had this fascination of like, oh, you know, what are some things I can maybe check out next time? One, telling myself that there is going to be a next time. Two, being like, yeah, what else would I want to do? What are some things that might be a little bit like different for me, like check out, or like more things to really like ease into? I knew that there was a lot of like Japan vloggers around and about. I didn't realize how like dense that whole like sphere, that vlogosphere is like until coming back, kind of being like, oh wow, yeah, these are the people that are doing it. Like, you know, you pay attention to it through at least some amount of like the amount of specific YouTubers going to live in Japan and making their career out of like content creation specifically in Japan. And that's one thing. But then to come back, kind of be like, yeah, this kind of is like a whole like local curated like ecosystem is interesting to see. And I speak on that only as someone that like whenever I do travel, I kind of like being able to like get lost a little bit and kind of like have the opportunity to not like pretend that I'm living there a little bit, but more just like, yeah, what are the things that like, if this was going to be like a day-to-day, like what would I be doing? What are the things I'd be checking out? And
sure,
I don't know, it was really fun. The food fantastic. For whatever reason that week, I wasn't like the most hungry as I could have been, but like what I did have when I like sat down to eat a meal, fantastic. A lot of konbini food, I will say.
Yeah.
But for a reason. Like, it's really just kept to such a consistent standard. You're never really going to be disappointed when you have to, like, you know, get a little takeout onigiri or get, like, a local, like, bread from, like, the 7-Eleven or the Family Mart. It's reliable. It's good, especially, like, since I was coming back to my hotel at, like, what? Like, 11, 12. Couldn't really guarantee that a lot of, like, the restaurants around me were open. That was at least a way to still have food in me and to still, like, recoup from a very busy day. But outside of that, had some really good ramen from, like, Tokyo Ramen Street when I made a day out of, like, being in Tokyo Station. I had soba. I had some really good curry. Even from, like, a local chain. I got to try, like, yakiniku. And, like, even, like, the local, like, chain versions of those, like, restaurants, it's still a new experience, which I really appreciate it. And so, like, getting to sit down at, like, the yakiniku grill, start up, like, the little, like, grill in front of me, have, like, the meat to just, like, toss and, like, get up to, like, a good consistency. Still so much fun. And really glad that I got to try that out. That was all the food, and then to bring it all back a little bit to the pod, I didn't do that much gaming. Like, I would say the peak of the main theme of my trip was really just, like, wanderlust. Let me hit, like, the main stuff that I know I want to just, like, get out of my system now. So that way, when I come back, I can sort of, like, eke out of my comfort zone a little bit and consider, like, oh yeah, what are the things I might want to do differently? What are some things I would want to do a little bit more of or just shake up? I did have the chance to go to formerly Sega, now Geagle. And there's a bunch of, like, Geagle sites, which are like the video arcades. And they're set up in a way where it's like you have all of your crane games, your gacha games, usually as, like, the forefront. Then you go up a couple floors, you'll have your rhythm games, and then from there, there's usually a section dedicated to metal games. So, like, your patchy slots, your not full-on pachinko parlors, but it's like, that's also where I've seen people do, like, their, like, horse betting. So,
right,
like, splayed out enough that you're never really going to, like, have that mix, but when I was in Akihabara for a bit, that is where, like, one of the things I got to do was just, like, go to one of those and just check out the little local, like, cluster of rhythm games. And from what I could tell, Chunia them is still very popular.
Yeah.
The circle one is still really popular. Like, I've seen a lot of those.
Right.
Where you, like, have this whole circle and it's like a touch screen and then you can like spin the circle around.
I don't remember what that one's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Taiko, I think, like, got a recent, like, overhaul of its machines, and so definitely saw a lot more Taiko machines around. Some that even are, like, in, like, full English. So
okay.
I know that I think if I remember right, there are plans to even get those now distributed over to the States. And so that's going to be cool to see.
Yeah, there was, like, a test recently, so it's happening. They just gotta get them over here, basically.
Yeah, and I think it was Konami that, I guess, saw the success of, like, Chunia them and have their own version of it. But where Chunia them by Sega has, like, the touch screen or, like, the touch interface for, like, a lot of its, like, control. The Konami version has, like, a plastic piano, basically. You're still doing the same movements and, like, the, God, I don't think you're... Yeah.
That's old. That's older. That's actually from before.
Is that older?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I was like having to look up how to actually like start it because I like put my like coins in. I couldn't like parse where the actual like start button was.
Right.
It was a touchscreen like up front or like on the actual like interface, which I didn't put together. But eventually, I got a couple rounds off that. And racing games are still pretty popular. You have like Mario Kart. You have like a lot of the initial D cabinets are still available. So that was pretty cool to see. And then didn't do a lot of crane gaming. I did do like a little one that got me like a cute little Miku figure, which is pretty cool. No, not a figure. I got a little Miku plushie, which is a lot of fun. And then in terms of like other like what I also got to do is check out a lot of like the local gaming merchandise stores. So, because like, I guess I could have Googled this beforehand, but I stumbled into like 2 of the Capcom stores in like Osaka and Tokyo. And it was funny to just sort of like walk around and be like, oh shit, that's like Ryu doing either. I think like I forget if it was Osaka or Kyoto in particular, but like the one in Kansai is Ryu doing like a Shoryuken, and then the one in Tokyo is Ryu doing the Hadoken, which is pretty funny. But like just wandering around and be like, oh shit, and like
that's Ryu from Streets.
Right, that's Ryu from Streets, and then here's all the merchandise for like DMC5. They're doing a big campaign for Monster Hunter. They're doing, God, what else? Resident Evil. Like a lot of their like bigger like IPs have gotten a lot of that like attention, but it was still cool to see like, oh wow, like I can get merch for every Street Fighter character, even including like stuff that's in like their like 3rd costume, which is cool to see. And I mean, like, everybody's, not just like, oh, you know, Juri and the Kigurumi, because that's, like, already marketable. Like, you could get everybody, at least like a standee or, like, a little, like, towel or something. I went to a few Pokemon shops, because they are abundant, and it was cool to see just, like, the variety or lack of variety sometimes. Like, you could definitely tell, like, what's popular and what's not. But even in that, like, you still have some solid, like, picks for, like, plushies or, like, just other little, like, memorabilia. And in one of these stores, I also saw a little, like, Koei Tecmo store. I think it was mainly doing, like, Dynasty Warriors stuff.
Sure.
Like, I was trying to look through it and like figure out if there's anything I like really recognized, but it was like one of those little corner shops, and I was kind of like, man, I could not tell you what I'm actually looking at. I am like free throwing any guesses as to what this could all be about. But from that, I also, God, I remember now, like one of those days, I also just stumble into like what the next day was going to be, which was the Death Stranding pop-up store.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like a ticketed event. Like, you had to have a reservation already. Everything was sold out, so I couldn't actually go to it. But it was just funny to like walk into that and just see them do like the little like pre-screening event and just be like, oh, wow, that must have been fun. That must have looked cool. But that was the bulk of that. I didn't go to like a Super Potato. I didn't go to like the real like big used like gaming stuff, which is unfortunate, but at the same time, that's always going to be like available. Like, the physical market for games is always going to be, I assume it's going to be very consistent in Japan. People love to have a physical like thing over there. So like, I'm sure that the next time I go, I can always just wander into a Hard Off or a Mandarake and really just find like the game console stuff. I think that's about like a good coverage of like stuff. I don't know if y'all have anything else like specific that you're curious about.
No, I
No,
think,
not really. I mean,
that was pretty extensive, I would say. Not to knock it, just genuinely that was, the experience. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's nice to prepare for what I'm going to have soon, hopefully.
Yeah. No, for sure. And like, God, the thing that I appreciated was like having had a little bit of Japanese under my belt, still rusty, still like unbelievably rusty. It was just enough that in the moments that I could have conversation, I like could try and lean into that, and people were so appreciative of it, which was cool to see. Because I don't know, I don't like to assume like, oh, as an American, you've got to speak English whenever I go to a new country. That just feels like a shitty way to maneuver. Again, like the exchange rate was like laughably in favor of the dollar, that I was really just like, there were times that I could like go to specific stores that were also tax-free. Basically, if you spend over a certain amount, you could then like offer your passport and they would like waive the tax off of specific stuff that you buy. The caveat there being that like they would wrap it in like very specific plastic that you could not open until you got back from your trip. And so if there's stuff that you want to get as like a souvenir, and like one of the things I did was go to Tobichi, which is the store that does a lot of like Shigesato Itoi's branding. So, and I mean like general branding, because you might know him already as the guy that worked on like the Mother series, but dude has been doing so much stuff. Because like I went to the one in Tokyo, which is like a little like store kind of just like tucked away in like a little corner. But what you have, not only is there like his main like current claim to fame of like the Hobonichi Techo, which is like a whole line of like stationery and notebooks and just like planners and stuff, which is like the main crux of it. Not only do you have a little section of like Mother merchandise that I made out like a bandit with and made sure to like get some stuff before I headed out, they were also showing off this like little thing of like scents or like diffusers or like perfume. Like it's interesting to see, especially like thinking about like fame as you get to the outer or like stuff that makes it like stateside or like western side. I know it might just be focused on like one little pocket of stuff. But then when you like go to the origin of that and you just see like how expansive the actual popularity is of that particular subject, it's really interesting to see just like, how far that extends. I was talking a little bit as well, how before I was like, or like when I would be on the train, like the main thing I would see is like advertisements for like Mario and Luigi Brothership, because that was like the first thing coming out. But then like, I would still see some guy like with a Nintendo 3DS and like the Luigi case on the back of it as he was like getting out of the train and like making it to his like next like stop or whatever. Lot of like, yeah, just so much. There was so much, but it also didn't feel too overwhelming. Like, there is a curious balance of busyness to consideration and like, what's the word for it? Not solitude, but just like, it never feels suffocating when I was like walking around. There are definitely moments where like I kind of was just like getting myself a little bit overwhelmed or frustrated trying to like navigate to a specific thing, but usually that just meant like, okay, let me like go to the vending machine, let me get a quick drink of something, let me go and like get an actual meal in my system because I haven't like eaten yet. And that would help me just like get back on track and just like keep going. Like, it was never anything that felt too like much at any one time.
Well,
Yeah.
I am extremely glad that you had a good time. For real.
Yeah, same.
It's fun to hear about it. May we all be able to have good ass adventures in other countries in the coming days and years.
Yep.
I hope so. I don't know. I take for granted how much travel has become a part of my life. You know, not just with big stuff like this, but I mean, how habitually it is that I'm able to meet up with Franny and, Solon over in Seattle, and how that's become much more of a habit nowadays. How even able to meet up with you, John, in Otakon when we planned out that trip. It's so much fun.
Or when I came to New York, a year ago?
Oh my God,
and
yeah.
we had a really nice dinner, and it was so nice being able to hang out in person. Or my birthday last week or last month when I got to hang out with Franny, and just, it's been nice.
Yeah. Even when I got back this past week, I was able to get a quick chat in with Elvie, because I also managed to bring her a little souvenir, so I wanted to drop that off. And just I don't know, the thing I always get away from these trips is how much I have been sort of maybe stuck in a particular little rut. And especially this year, where I'm glad that I have the work that I do, I'm glad that I have the routine that I do, but really started to feel sort of just the exhaustion of I think more specifically feeling I was kind of just doing the same thing, but never feeling I was having more out of that. And so, here to have this whole week where literally I was sleeping maybe midnight to 6, 7 a.m. And then the rest of that day, I was just off doing anything, doing whatever, just filling the most out of my days with experiences and opportunities. Part of it is that I wasn't on the clock, and so I had the time to do that. But then also, coming back in and realizing, well, how can I do more of that? How can I still keep that up and not feel like I can only do this when I work enough hours and earn the time off as a recompense. And so that has been a great sense of rejuvenation, and makes me think about how I do spend that time away from work. And even in the immediate stuff, it's what has led me to get back into gaming a little bit. I hadn't really played anything since I finished Infinite Wealth back in April, maybe. And, to have more of a itinerary down again, I'm really excited to get that up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like this entire year so far has been us just kind of trying to get back on that horse, but it's one of those things where it's I feel like we're getting there more and more over time.
Yeah.
It's just we're all really leaning into that adult balance shit right now, I think, and it's fucking tough, but I think we're gonna get there soon. Let's see here. Here I'll talk about something that we can all chime in on because we all played it. We've all touched Metaphor ReFantasio.
Oh my god, what a good game.
What
a good game.
I'm only a little ways into it. I just finished the second main dungeon, the one where you get Heizme. It's fun. I mean, it's just Persona. It is just Persona in structure. You've got basically the same thing as social links. You've got, you're trying to do things in a certain number of days. But the stuff they added is really cool. They've actually added side dungeons, so you're doing more actual combat in between running through the main dungeons. They have the good old you can kill enemies on the overworld if you're leveled up enough.
Yes.
I always love that in RPGs.
And that's like a really, really good way to like grind money and grind mag, which is like the biggest wall in the game is just mag. But once you can start doing that, you just go to area where things can respawn really easily, and there's a lot of them, and you just kill it all over and over again, and hey, mag's not an issue anymore.
Yeah, I got to the point where I did some grinding for some money. That was very easy, because once you get the merchant, you just equip your whole party with the merchant, and you run around killing stuff in the overworld. And I mean, it's not like a ton of money, but it adds up pretty quick. You know, it's like 300 gold per kill or whatever. So you just run around.
Later, it's like 2,000-3,000.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's just the starting point. You're gonna jump up once you get more, higher archetypes and stuff. It's really cool. I mean, I don't want to like do like an too much of like an intro to it, because I'm sure everyone listening knows what metaphor is, but we could just talk about our opinions. I will say I do really like the plot so far. It's kind of goofy, but it works enough that it's still fun. The characters are pretty strong. It's what I expected. It's not like completely knocking my shoes off. Since I've gotten into SMT, I kind of preferred that sort of stuff story-wise to Persona storytelling, but this is still making me pretty happy, and I'm also glad that there is no romance options in this, so that way they can build on a lot more of the female characters without you having to worry about it turning into either I have to turn her down and then she is miserable, or we go the romance route, and it's like, no, I just want to get to know these people. I want to get to know Hulkenberg. I love Hulkenberg. I want to learn all about what's going on with her, and like Brigitte and all that.
Like my favorite thing is that you can't like fuck up a social link.
Mm-hmm.
You automatically get the level no matter what, and the only thing that your answers reflect is how much mag you get at the end of it, which is so much nicer that I mean, I was able to do every single side quest, optional dungeon, super boss kind of thing. Take multiple days on a couple of dungeons and still get everything done.
Yeah.
Because I'm not worried about, if I choose the wrong answer or don't have the right thing equipped, I'm not going to be able to 100% the game or whatever at the end. And that is just a really fucking nice feeling.
It also allows for better role-playing, because you're able to kind of answer how you want to answer without worrying too much about it. Like, I definitely had like a kind of awkward conversation with Brigitte, but it was how I would have reacted to how, because I don't want to spoil too much about what her social link's about, but she's very standoffish and is like just has like very weird, like double-natured opinions about what she's having you do, like the creature that you are interacting with, as it were.
Yeah.
And so I like, if I was in the main character situation, I would just be kind of like, it's not that big of a deal. I don't know why you're, nobody's gonna talk shit about you or whatever, but like, that kind of made the conversation a little awkward, and that felt human, just to be like, I'm, I'm maybe You know, it's like then she came at me and was like, no, this is how I feel, you know, and it's like, okay, yeah, because like that's how people interact. You know, like your opinion is different from another person's opinion. If something's important to them and it's not important to you, you know, sometimes you gotta hash it out. You know, like,
and the thing is nice because like the mag difference you get from choosing all of the right options and all of the wrong options is like so minimal. It's like do 3 fights. Yeah. And that is like, I never feel like I'm falling behind. I never feel like I'm forced into a decision. It's really nice to play one of these games and get 100% of it done in one playthrough outside of the one optional thing that only appears in New Game Plus like they always do. Without a guide.
Yeah.
Without needing to look up, okay, what's the most optimal way to spend all my days?
Right.
Like, I even got told, because I was close to the last month, and then a friend of mine was like, well, I just hit the last month, and I'm definitely not going to be able to do anything. And then I discovered there's a thing you could do that just every time you do it gets you, like, 10 points on your stats instead of, like, 4. And it's like, oh, yeah, so the last month they built in all these extra tools to help you cap out and get everything done, and it's just really nice. It's so nice. The quality of life stuff, it feels... It's like they finally actually nailed the Persona formula in a game where I hope they never do the Persona day-to-day formula again.
I wouldn't mind it if it's like this, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's been some leaks about Persona 6 that makes it sound like they're gonna be building off of Metaphor, and I mean, you know, that stuff has been pretty here and there, but I don't know. From what I've played of Metaphor, I am more excited for Persona 6 now. And I'm excited for like Metaphor 2 or whatever happens later. Like it's cool. They set up a cool world. They set up a bunch of cool characters. Like it's good, you know. And from what I can tell, I'm not gonna have to grit my teeth and look away from the screen during the homophobic scene. I don't think there's no homophobic scene in this one.
There's no, there's not. There's no weird like
they listen.
There's a lot of like it's exploring a lot of different kinds of bigotry towards the like, and they don't fuck any of it up.
Yeah, like it's all this stuff that's in there is like for a reason, not because they're just like, hey, gay people, am I right? Like, no. Yeah.
How about them queers? Aren't they weird? No, they like.
It's reflective. Like it's you know, like your character is a minority and they are seen as inferior by a lot of the other races, and so there's a lot of scenes where like you do a quest for somebody and they're just like, I bet they can't get it done, you know, they're one of those fucking and then you get it done and you go back up and they're just like, oh well, I didn't mean all that stuff I said earlier, you know, you're one of the good ones, obviously, like that kind of shit, you know,
and like they do some of that, but it's responded to immediately with like, fuck you. Like,
yeah,
fuck
and
you.
I mean there's also people that just like actually like change their tune and they're like, okay, yeah, you know what, yes, I was completely wrong, like I'm sorry, I will not judge people based on their race. You know,
I will no longer be racist.
Racist. I mean, you know, like they're doing what they can in the span of a little side quest where you're picking up like medallions for somebody. You know, like.
And so I'm like a couple hours in, like 4, I think. For context, we are just got back into like the main town because I think y'all are a bit further up, like ahead of me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Lorelai
stuff
finished it. So.
I'm that far on regicide difficulty.
Oh yeah, that too. I'm playing the game on hard mode, and I've already had some like immediate like oh, I came in here unprepared and my ass got handed to me, which is cool. I'm glad that I'm able to like have that ability to see what went wrong on something and just like have a bit of a opportunity to get back to it. My brain is like a little bit annoyed at the speed at which it's like having me have to like sit for some of the cutscenes or just like the leftover of like, the fantasy is dead, and I'm just like, I'm mashing X, buddy. Let me get back into it.
Let me get
spoiled.
back in.
It's spoiled by the 4 times speed of like the Trails fast forward button. Not gonna lie, but
the one thing I will say I like in that is when you do die, you don't lose much progress. It's got a really generous autosave.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, that autosave has been such a like encouragement to even like, you know, try things out a little bit, because it's not like I'm starting from the last save point, which has definitely bit me in the ass in the past of just like, oh man, I did not save when I should have, and now I've lost like maybe 5 levels of like a character to get like the one spell I needed back in like Persona 4 or 5. And so I'm glad from like the crispness of the gameplay. Again, you know, it's funny getting to it right after everything now, where like just the message of, man, these people who are leaders really wanted things to be good. And they really tried to make things equal for everybody. It's like, yeah, it's baby's first look at society, but at the same time, it's like, man, we really do still need this to an extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People still need to hear something that tells them you can think about how things can be better while also living in the now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much the game goes into an idea of like materialism, but it feels like there's at least enough to get the conversation rolling.
There's definitely some of a lot of it. Like a lot of stuff like that. A lot of like the horrors of fascism and capitalism, and yeah. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll stop there, because I realized one of the things I was about to say would be not so much a spoiler for... I don't think it would be a spoiler for John, but it would be a spoiler for you.
Got it. I will also say, like, in that narrative, again, it's like, you know, getting so accustomed to, like, sucking in the air whenever there's anything about, you know, marginalized communities. The fact that also this game kind of does a lot to, again, like the subtext is just text at this point, but saying, hey, you are somebody that has a lot of power, but part of that also means being able to build a community of people to share that power with and to build from. Like, it's softballs, but at the same time, we kind of need those softballs. And so I'm appreciative of how overt those conversation pieces are, especially as like people are so eager to just judge a game by whether or not it's woke, and by that meaning, okay, am I gonna have to think about people? No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's Persona combat too. It's good, but it's got a little bit of that SMT flavor. Like it's got like press turn basically. So that's good.
Yeah.
I like it a ton. I'm probably gonna play it after we're done recording.
Yeah.
Oh, same.
I am really looking forward to some of the discussions that will probably come from it come GOTY time.
Sure.
I really want to talk to Rose about this one, honestly.
Yeah.
I am just like, still kind of reeling from how much I liked it enough to... I have never restarted a Shin Megami Tensei style game, a Persona game for New Game Plus immediately when I finished. This is the first time I've done that.
I almost did that with SMT5 Vengeance. Like, I had to talk myself down from doing that. I wanted to just hop right back into it.
Yeah.
But that's wonderful. I just want to keep talking about what we've been playing. I had the fucking Pokemon fever the past couple of weeks, which like isn't too much of a surprise for me because hey, I'm John. I love Pokemon. There's just been a lot of Pokemon stuff going on in my life. They dropped that Pokemon TCG Pocket app, which I fully downloaded that expecting it to be kind of crappy and just being like, whatever. It's just going to be Pokemon TCG on this thing, in another way. But if you've ever played Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, they pretty much did that with Pokemon. They made it a faster, smaller game, and I think it's phenomenal. I think it's really fun. It's also pretty easy to make playable decks without worrying about money. Like, obviously if you're trying to just immediately grind up to have a super powerful deck, that will probably cost you some money, but I haven't spent a dime, and I have 3 competitive decks. And I'm, working on more, because, it's really fun. Like, I ended up making the Mewtwo deck, because of course, I love Mewtwo. But that's like probably the quote-unquote expensive one, because you have to get 2 Mewtwo EX, and those are kind of rare, but I ended up getting 2, so I don't have to worry about that. And then I have the Primeape deck, which that's a really fun one because already it's like, people are finding synergies with different cards because when so far there's only been like 1 and like kind of a half sets, because there's the set that is, I think it's like Genetic Apex or something like that, that has like Mewtwo, Pikachu, and Charizard cards on the packs. Depending on which one you pick, like the Mewtwo one has Mewtwo, Pikachu one is Pikachu, and like the Pikachu EX is probably the best card right now, overall. But the Primeape deck gets around it because they did an event where they released a Mankey card that self-damages itself for 10 damage, and then the Primeape card has a move where if you're damaged, it does 100 damage instead of just like 40. So, yeah, so there's a synergy there.
So you almost triple your damage by taking damage.
Yes. And then you can kind of control it that way too, because before it was like, oh, I have to get my opponent to hit me. But now you do it while you're on the offensive, you're only taking 10 damage, and then you're evolving into Primeape, and then you're able to attack for a big chunk of damage, which is perfect if you're up against the Pikachu deck, because the Pikachu deck is weak to fighting. And so, like when the first set dropped, it was just like, okay, yeah, this Primeape card, whatever. Like there was a Mankey in that set. It didn't really help out. But then as soon as that event started and that promo hit, a whole new deck was born. Like that's really exciting. That's really cool. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how the game continues to evolve. It's really exciting to be like on the ground floor of the meta, because like I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I love the Pokemon TCG, but like I wasn't able to get in while the getting was good, kinda. But getting in, I got into this like day 1. I'm able to keep up with everything that's going on. And it's like, oh yeah, no, I know what's good. I know what's bad. Like I have like a Koga control deck where that one is you have you just have Weezing, Arbok, and Muck. And the Weezing card has like an ability that just poisons the opponent. And then Arbok has a move that makes it so they can't switch out. And then Muck has a move that it does like 120 damage if they're poisoned. And so what you do is you have the Wheezing out, you poison them, and then there's a Koga trainer card that just lets you pick up the Wheezing, and then like you put it back in your hand, and then you just put the Muck out or the Arbok out, and then you just control the game from there. It's crazy how cool like all these synergies are already in this. You know, there's one set and like a couple of promo cards, and there's already like a pretty cool metagame where I don't think anything is like too overpowered. Like, yeah, the Pikachu deck is probably the best deck right now, but it has checks and balances, and you know, it goes back and forth. Like, yeah, like I'm playing like the easy number 2 deck Mewtwo, and I'm still running into stuff where it's just like, yeah, no, I'm fucked against this. You know, oh, I whipped their ass with this one. It's a healthy metagame so far, and so I'm hoping that it continues to be healthy. It could definitely fall apart eventually, but like it's just really cool seeing a TCG type thing that has a metagame that doesn't make me want to die immediately. Because like fucking Master Duel dropped, and like day one it was bullshit. You know?
Yeah. I've been playing my commander stuff with friends lately in Magic, and I lasted like 2 weeks doing it. It was, we were playing like a couple of times a week, and oh my god, I genuinely can't. Oh, Magic the Gathering is really frustrating card game-wise.
It's a mess right now from what I've seen. It's a bummer.
It was just like, upsetting.
Yeah. But then like 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine reached out and was like, John, I see how much you love Pokemon. I've never played a Pokemon game. I'm a big RPG head, but I've never played a Pokemon game. Which one would you recommend? And then I kind of went off and just like explained all of them to them. And then at the end of it, we basically just decided, hey, I think you should do Gen 5. And I was like, I'll play some of it too, because I haven't played Gen 5 in a while, and I wanted to kind of, have like a parallel experience. So I played a little bit of Black.
Nice.
And that's still a cool game. I still fucking wish that game didn't have HMs. I still fully believe that if Ilka just does a straight remake but removes HMs, I will be extremely happy with that. I don't care.
Yeah.
But then I had the urge to fuck around with my Analog Pocket again.
Oh?
Specifically because I'm writing an article for Old School Gamer magazine about a different portable system which does not actually have a working core yet, which is a bit frustrating. I'm still waiting on that to drop. But I still ended up messing around with my Analog Pocket, and the kind of shit that you can do with that thing is nuts. I found out, and apparently there is a reason for this. I thought that it was just a cool little, like, doohickey that you can mess around with, but it does actually help with color palettes. Is Super Game Boy. You can run Super Game Boy on your Analog Pocket, so if you want the borders and you want, like, better palettes for some of the games, you can do that. And not only that, but I ended up upgrading it so it runs Super Game Boy 2, which didn't even come out in America, and it doesn't really do that much different, but it's just really cool that I'm just like, yeah, I have Super Game Boy 2 on this. What the fuck? What the fuck are you gonna do about it? Like, it's crazy. All this shit you can do. It's nuts. But I ended up messing around with a ROM hack called Pokemon Emerald Rogue. You may recall that Poke Rogue was a big hit for a hot minute online. And that was a very streamlined experience that was very much just you're kind of mashing through it. That is very much just like I got kind of hooked on it for a couple of days, but that was just because it was like rolling the slots. It was just like mash. Okay, I did the mash. But Emerald Rogue is more of an experience because it is actually made in Pokemon Emerald. You have like a home base that you're upgrading over time to give yourself more things that you can upgrade your Pokemon before you go on your roguelike runs. There's just a lot more personality in it, I would say. It's cool. It's really cool. Like, if you like roguelikes and you like Pokemon, you need to get on this. You need to. They just... The funny thing, too, is that I was like, oh, yeah, no, I tried this a little bit, and I thought it was cool, but let me see if there's been any updates. And they had... I think they just released, like, 2.0, which it's just straight up a sequel. Like, they pretty much just went, hey, we're just going to improve everything about the original, and it is pretty much just a sequel. So... It's sensational. It is so fucking cool. If you, there's even ways that you can play online. Like MGBA, the emulator, has online capabilities, so you can do runs with other people if you want.
It's
nuts. It's so cool. I wouldn't really know too much about it because, like I said, I've mostly just been playing it on Analog Pocket, so I can't do online stuff with that. But
that's still super unique and cool.
It's so cool.
That's the kind of shit I love about that kind of like game creation, mod creation, if you will.
Freedom.
Yeah, like
the ability to do all kinds of crazy shit that you'd never be able to do otherwise.
Yeah, people making cool, unique shit with games that you love.
Mm-hmm.
Is honestly the coolest thing in the world to me. Like, that's my favorite thing in video games. It's just cool.
It's very neat. And then we can also kind of talk a little bit about this too, Lorelai and I. I started to play Holocure again, which is the Hololive Vampire Survivors clone. I started doing it before the new update, but then a new update dropped a couple of days ago, and the update is really good. Like, they added a bunch of new stuff, a bunch of new characters. That game is still really fucking good. It's funny because, like, it's, it is very much a pastiche on Vampire Survivors, but just the fact that you can aim without, just like moving in that direction.
I installed it this morning and I cleared on my first attempt.
It fun.
Just breaks the entire formula, but it's shocking. Well, let's phrase it this way. I'm going to do my best to remove every little clicking sound from my audio track, but if you hear some, it's because I kind of can't stop playing. It's extremely addicting. This is a good time for those Survivors games right now.
It is.
It really is. And this one is just like, honestly, the addition of like, hey, all your characters have like super moves, which I didn't even realize until like 10 minutes ago how to use them.
It's fun.
It's quite addicting, and I think I have a problem.
Like, even if you don't care about Hololive, if you just like Vampire Survivors, it's fucking free. Just check it out. It's very
kind
fun.
of the thing is like my favorite character to play as in the runs I've done is like my least favorite member of Hololive.
Yeah, like I don't even like care about who they are. Basically, I'm just like, oh, this is the weapon, this is their loadout. Okay, rock on.
It's very, it's the Vampire Survivors thing of I just want to fuck with all the weapons, see what they're like, and enjoy them. Like, oh god, I've been having so much fun with that, and And like Vampire Survivors in general over the last couple of weeks has just been I've been obsessing. The Castlevania update is completely it's kind of wild because it's like you buy it and then it immediately unlocks 22 characters.
Yeah.
And then you unlock most of those to the point where you unlock a certain one that can do a thing. And then it just unlocks 22 more. And then there are 22 more secret unlock characters after that.
Jeez. It's
the most just completely insane amount of content for like $3 I've ever seen in my life. It's I have legitimately put a whole lot of hours into it, and I still haven't unlocked even half of what's in the expansion. And now because of Holocure, it's probably not going to happen because, well, at least for a couple of months. Like these are both the kind of game that it's just like I'm stressed out. I just want some serotonin going, and I've been needing a lot of that lately.
Sure,
it's nice to have these.
Mm-hmm. Maverick, did you play anything else?
A little bit. So like before I headed out on this trip, I was kind of just like, man, I want to try and like do something. Like literally my worst habit that I've like built up this year is I get back from work and I'm kind of just like dead-eyed looking at like YouTube videos for like when I get back to when I go to bed. Horrible habit. And finding something to at least like get a little bit more progress on is something that I've wanted to try and get back into. And I also just have a massive backlog of games that I can pick from, but just never get around to actually getting to. So kind of just like to also break another bad habit of mine, which is trying to find like a good reason or a good time to start something versus just, you know, picking it up and getting along to it. I started up Atelier Ayesha, the deluxe version, which is available on PS4. I got the whole trilogy on a sale and kind of thought, you know what? Let me at least get my foot in the door with this. And from where I got to, it's been a lot of fun. It's a very, very just like, it's my first step into the Atelier series, which been meaning to get to. I know Ryza has been such a popular like staple of the series that helped like get it to where it is now. But, you know, kind of was curious about something that at the very least, like my understanding of it is that is like the game that beloved speaker and knower of JRPGs, Food for Dogs, you know, she had put out a video of like her own journey, mentioned like this is one of those games that really like drew her in. And so I'm like, yeah, let me give it a shot. And, you know, if you've never touched it before, Atelier Ayesha takes place in this world that is kind of just like has its own magic systems. There's definitely stuff that like leans into the history of that, but you're kind of just like placed in a moment where you're this young herbalist, Ayesha, or just like medicine maker, who recently had lost her sister and kind of just like struggling with that, kind of just assuming that it was like a natural passing of sorts. And finds out, hey, actually, there's a lot more going on. There's a chance that you could actually save your sister. And so is kind of like off on this journey to build her skills in what she calls her own like a medicine making, turns out to be a aptitude of sorts for alchemy. And sets off to actually find the answer for this, make friends along the way, and try and get all this done before 3 years, the window that she has sort of to get this actual quest done, slips by her. Different kind of time management, different kind of like clock to run off of. That I have a guide up for it. I try and follow it as best I can, but even the guide is kind of just like saying like this is like the best case scenario of getting some of this stuff done. Do not treat this as a 1-for-1 case to get everything done. If anything, so long as you just adhere to a general flow for what you want to do, you should be fine. And the game itself, from what I can tell, is even just like willing you to be like, hey, do what you can. There is an ending available. And usually the second time around will be when you get the actual ending, or like the way that we would want you to close out this story. And so for a PS3 game, definitely of the time in terms of just not the most robust, like actual turn-based system. If anything, it's interesting to see how the map traversal and the crafting take more of a precedence over the time that you spend in battle. It's interesting to see a game that has that so flipped, where you go through battles just to like clear tasks. Basically, like you have a whole map available to you to explore, and it's kind of set up like the easiest analog I can lean into is like Dokapon Kingdom, but basically like each like town or location or dungeon is its own little like tick on the map. To get from point A to point B, you'll have to go through the points in between, and it'll take a set number of days. You have the option there to actually craft gear so that, getting to maybe the main town takes 2 days instead of 5 days. You have things that help with the actual alchemy system. You can put money into like better equipment and better gear for like fighting, but also it's not necessary. And the way that you sort of like navigate the party members that you have, you're kind of encouraged to mix and match as the situation arises. And so like, maybe you'll recruit 2 people, one like much more based in the magic available to you, one more of a physical like brawler to like get through a local dungeon. Maybe then like by the time that you have to go to the next place, you just drop one of them, replace that, because it's only a maximum of like 3 total party members. But the progression of sorts is never based around the actual combat. It's more so based around how you just encounter each town, encounter the goings-ons of the area. It's really interesting. I haven't really encountered anything like this before, and I know that the Atelier series is kind of famous for its focus on what can feel very ancillary in other games. And, for something like, to touch on Metaphor again, where there is sort of that mix where you have these very action-heavy set pieces next to opportunities to build out your cast of characters. And what people have always praised about Persona as well is having this like marriage of the two ideas, to the point that the whole idea of, say, dating sim or a visual novel gets kind of warped for some folks. With Atelier, it's much less a like blurring of those lines and more just, yeah, you might have to fight stuff, but that's also not going to be the main way you like meet new people or develop these stories or get like actual character beats. It's part of the vehicle, but it's never the actual driving force. And that's been really fun to play around with. As I played, got close to the end of my first year in the game, and so really trying to make sure I get more of these story beats, try and get closer to some of these narrative arcs. And the way that you kind of make money is through like delivery quests. And so like making stuff for folks or like buying stuff from other shops to then resell or get stuff going. And it's still a lot to get used to, but it's been fun to figure out. And as I'm trying to tell myself, you don't need to have a one-to-one line up with the guide. Just keep doing what you're doing and lean into whatever ending you do get. I'm curious to see how the rest of the story plays out, because what I've played so far really does have me interested in what this game has to say.
Yeah. Like that is I think that was my first Atelier game too. So you're kind of in for a treat. I like that series, and that's the game that got me into it. So I am hoping you will enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So far, it's been a blast. Again, it's like all I ever saw of it was the actual opening, and that was already enough to be like, I need to remember this game. I need to make sure that I do get to this eventually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right, and then to wrap this part of the thing up, Lorelai,
yeah,
you have two separate Final Fantasy MMOs on here.
Yeah.
Let's hear what's up.
I'm gonna keep it somewhat quick. The new patch for Final Fantasy XIV came out, and it launched the new Alliance raid, which is like a 24-person raid that comes out. That's sort of like, it's relatively easier than it's easier than a 8-person raid. It's kind of casual content, but the new one is Final Fantasy XI based. So
Okay.
It made me really want to go back and play Final Fantasy XI again for some reason. Because I haven't played Final Fantasy XI in like, I want to say 15 years. I'm very old. I played that game for years when it first came out through the first 3 expansions. I was playing that game regularly. And it's been kind of weird to go back. First of all, Final Fantasy XI is 20 plus years old now, and they're still releasing new content for it, which is kind of wild. But they've also like made it so you can have NPC allies for everything, because they kind of don't know how many people are going to be playing at any time. Because it is a 20-year-old MMO. And there aren't as many people playing, so you aren't going to be as easily able to fill a team. So they just made it so that you could have an NPC party for doing all the story stuff, all the dungeons and whatnot. So far, I've only put in about 10 hours after jumping back in, but it is like such a weird feeling going back to this old school MMO style where you can lose XP when you die, you can level down, and you have all these things, but they've done so many things to make it friendly for just like single player, or if you don't want to deal with other people, and just all the things that have changed over the last like 15 years since I last played are, hey, this is actually a really good Final Fantasy game now that if it didn't have a monthly fee, I would probably keep playing beyond, like, my goal is just to kind of go through the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really enjoying it. But if it didn't have a monthly fee, or if it had like a massively reduced one that I could combine with my 14 sub, I would probably be playing this more than I'd be playing 14. It's such a weird feeling, but it's like it's really fun to go back to something that you played coming out of college, because I'm fucking old. And like it's just like a lot of good memories coming back, and remembering that hey, this is actually one of the better Final Fantasy stories. It's really, really good. And I'm kind of glad 14 added the new stuff, which is all really good so far. that made me poke my head back into this old thing.
Sure.
Anyway, that's literally all I have to say. It's really cool to go back, have all these characters that I can bring along instead of having to deal with other people, because Final Fantasy XI was like notoriously focused on like always having a team for anything, where even like a crab could take like 5 minutes to kill if you don't have a full party, and could take like a couple of minutes even with a full party. So it's like, I don't know, it's really, really just a good feeling going back.
All right. Well,
yeah, I had a few friends playing Final Fantasy XI recently. I feel like there's just been like something in the air of like seeing a lot of people return to it now of all times, which has been neat to see.
Yeah.
It's time for Final Fantasy XI, I guess. All right.
God, the installation process is still... it's somehow worse than Final Fantasy XIV, which is already like the worst in the industry.
I heard you have to like go through some hoops to actually install it.
You still have to go through fucking Play Online.
Whatever the hell that is.
It's their old online service for it that used to have the ability to play Triple Triad, but you can't anymore.
Awful.
So what the fuck's the point? If I can't play Triple Triad, why are you making me install this garbage?
All right, well, we do have some news. Kind of funny. It kind of feels like the past little while is a little light on news, but let's try to go through what we've got from the recent times here. The big stories are pretty much all involving labor rights here. First off, Zenimax's workers are on strike because of outsourcing and remote work policies that Microsoft has been implementing. There is not anything currently moving forward about this other than the strike itself here. But Microsoft has said that they are open to talking to the union, which is good. But yeah, it is about the unilateral decision to outsource quality assurance, and also just how much like the remote work policies, like making people come into the office. In particular with Black Ops 6's developers in Minnesota last month. Basically, yeah, they're trying to make sure that people aren't getting undercut and people are still able to do remote work. We'll see how it shakes out. It's very much still in process.
Well.
Yes. I mean, hopefully, we will absolutely be hoping that things turn out well.
Yeah.
Here's something that's kind of, sort of, it's a mixed bit of news here. So Private Division, which Take-Two previously basically washed their hands of, and then also tried to say that they didn't, has now sold Private Division. We do not know who owns them now. It's just an unnamed buyer. But luckily that means that Private Division isn't just being completely shut down. If you recall, they are the folks who did Kerbal Space Program, Outer World. They worked on Outer Worlds. They did Ollie Ollie, Roller Drome. They did some work on Hades. Currently, the only thing that they have announced is that they're making a game called Tales of the Shire, which is supposed to come out March of next year. But yeah, it's very much in flux right now, I would say. It sounds like Roll7, the other folks that worked on Ollie Ollie and all that, Seems like they are most likely just going to be shut down, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it's a bit of an up and down sort of deal, and hopefully people land on their feet from Roll 7. And I mean, Private Division is still surviving, so hopefully maybe some of those folks that worked on Ollie Ollie at Roll 7 can go hop over to Private Division.
Damn.
And one last bit of news here is that SAG-AFTRA has introduced a new agreement for game localization. It's pretty similar to their terms that were in their other interactive media agreements, but there's AI protections, session and voice print options for pretty much everyone involved in doing dialogue recording, and it's all of this whole contract was written up via feedback from people who do localization.
Good.
It says that there are 130 game projects signed to the union's interim and independent agreements, and there's still a lot to go for SAG-AFTRA and game dialogue recording, because there's still a strike going on for that. There are games that are signed to agreements that allow for work to be done.
Yeah.
But those are all projects that already, line up with what SAG-AFTRA is trying to do for industry-wide. So that is still continuing. Hopefully the strike can end with a positive outcome soon. But hey, including people who are doing translated games is a big step up. That will cover a lot more people. And then we just got a couple more little bitty news here. Hideaki Itsuno, who you may know from Dragon's Dogma and Devil May Cry over at Capcom, left a little while after Dragon's Dogma 2 was finished. He is now the head of Lightspeed Japan Studio, which is a new AAA action team in Japan.
Yeah.
Don't really know where that's going to go, per se, but we'll see.
Hopefully good games.
Yeah, that's what we can hope for. Sega, in a recent interview on Video Games Chronicle, casually let slip that they are making a new Virtua Fighter.
Yep. Yeah, I kind of lost my shit. Virtua Fighter is my fighting game of choice if I have to choose one. I genuinely, oh my god, Virtua Fighter is such a good game.
Mm-hmm. Sega's currently trying to be a multimedia juggernaut, as it were. The Sonic movies have been very popular and successful. So they're doing a bunch of game reboots, and then alongside those reboots, they're trying to make TV shows and movies based on them. We'll see how that shakes out.
How do you do a TV show based on? Well, no, you could do a fun little martial arts competition TV show.
I mean, I would prefer they just do an anime or something, but whatever. Yeah. I mean, at the very least, the games are going to exist, so I can, if the movies and TV shows suck, whatever, we could just play the games.
8-episode Alex Kidd miniseries.
Oh, hell yeah, there we go. Gritty as hell.
I need to get into the fantasy zone.
Do the most stressful, fucking Kaiji level rock, paper, scissors shit going on.
Oh.
But yeah, they just kind of casually let this go, which this was honestly not a very well kept secret. That was something that was leaked like multiple times. People talked a ton of shit, very valid, about that guy who pretended to be a Japanese woman online. But that motherfucker also, like, leaked everything correct.
Yeah.
So, expect Virtua Fighter news
Expect the
soon.
expected.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it works out well. I think Harada said it before, but it's like, being the only 3D fighter on the market, it's not always going to be the most innovative if it doesn't have anything to build itself off of. And so hopefully if Virtua Fighter comes out, it turns out really well and is, I assume it'll be, ushered in with a warm welcome in the FGC, but even beyond that, if it can lead to more of a focus on what 3D fighters can look like, I mean, hey, when's the last Bloody Roar that we've seen?
Yeah,
please.
Can we see Soul Calibur 7?
Well, no, because the reason Soul Calibur has died is because they're competing with themselves. So they're just like, fuck that. Why compete with ourselves?
Exactly.
Let's just kill our slightly less important fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's...
Can Bandai Namco get its head out of its ass just enough to be like, actually, maybe people will buy both.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, yeah, they would buy both, but Soul Calibur does not sell in the amount of numbers that they demand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's like the worst part of
Game devs too expensive these days.
for sure.
Yep.
We can no longer focus on how well can we run multiple $1 million pools, but how can we get the one pool that gets us billions?
Yeah, exactly. It's very frustrating, and it's led to, people right now are not happy at all with Tekken.
Yeah.
Tekken is not doing great. It's still sold a ton and still sells, but people are not happy with Tekken. And I don't know if that's going to change as long as they have zero competition in the space, because they do not have any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need it.
Specifically with its spending practices, because while we were out, the Heihachi update came out, and one of the big things was that even if you buy the premium pass and have because so much of the fighting game scene is still focused on paying for the actual characters and having its DLC focused on actual core mechanics of the game versus seeing people from the shooter space come in and talk about that. I will say, for as much as I don't really give a shit about first person shooters, you buy the game once and you do have everything you need to win a game versus these patch updates that require you to learn a new meta, but then also prevent you from learning it unless you pay first, which is frustrating. And so, not only that, with Tekken being a game that is so reliant on stages as well, being a part of the meta, characters that do well with larger spaced stages, characters that do well with walls, having that sort of be part of the fundamental there. The new Heihachi stage is also paywalled, and you have to pay for that separately, which is ridiculous when you're already paying for all these other little pieces. And yeah, it is just outwardly greedy alongside just other... I've seen tournament mishaps come up. Oh my god. Just...
Yeah, it's Tekken is not in a good place right now, and it's like, I mean, Harada is legitimately open about the fact that the reason it's in the place it is because there's no competition in the space.
Exactly. And it sucks because, like, at its core, it's still fun. It's still good. Like, there is a good game in there that is still so much fun to watch. But definitely as we get closer to, like, the first year of its release, the biggest hurdle has been its management, which is a whole other just conversation to be had, especially with a company like Bandai Namco that is so, like, open about its complacency with some of its systems. I also think about Sparking Zero, which just came out and, you know, is maybe the best ideal of a arena fighter, 3D arena fighter, but also, like, is not going to have anything done to truly innovate. I hear good things. I hear that people are having fun, but yeah, like, it's not going to be. They own the market of that style of game already, and so at no point will they have to, like, really think about what they're doing or their strategy in order to, like, shake things up.
Yeah. It's the biggest problem with any of this is, like, when you don't have anything else in the space, what are you going to do? Like, if Guilty Gear Strive hadn't come out and been just a fucking amazing Street Fighter game, I don't think Street Fighter 6 would be as good as it is. Like, things like that. It's when you don't have the competition, why innovate? Why not just make another Street Fighter 5? Why not just make another thing like that? It's
It's a very weird time right now, I would say. But we'll see how it shakes out. All right, one last bit of news here. It was Half-Life 2's 20th anniversary, and because of that, we got a bunch of updates to Half-Life 2. For example, the Episode 1 and Episode 2 expansions are just in the base game now. You could just run through the whole thing. You don't have to worry about launching a separate executable. It's all in one package now. They have also added a new NoClip made a new documentary. It's 2 hours long. Which, hey, you know what? NoClip stuff is fucking incredible. You should check that out if you're interested. They have added a there's like a little cheeky little interactive thingamabobber on their website too for it as well, if you want to look at that. There are more interviews. They're re-releasing the Raising the Bar behind the scenes book with new concept art, more information from stuff that was in episode 1 and 2, and also information about the scrapped episode 3. There's, like, footage of episode 3 in the new documentary. They also added, like, commentary into Half-Life 2, like a full, like, you know how they have, like, the director commentary in, like, Portal and TF2 and all that. Yeah. They did that for Half-Life 2. So, nice. Big historical update. Really cool stuff that they're continuing to support their stuff 20 years later. Hopefully one day we do get Half-Life 3 or episode 3 or whatever, but I mean, this is as good a sign as any that they still give a shit about the franchise and that they want people to interact with it.
Yeah.
Like this, yeah. All right. Is there anything else you all want to touch on real quick, or can we do our questions and wrap this bad boy up?
I think we can do some questions.
All right. If you want to send in a question, you could go to gamesline.tumblr.com/ask. Or, honestly, you could just reply to us on Twitter or Blue Sky. You can just send us messages over Discord. Whatever you do, we'll figure it out. We'll get it all squared away. Excuse me. But the best way to do it is on Tumblr. Gamesline.tumblr.com/ask. And you'll sound like this. So this is from a couple weeks ago. Apologies. But Bigger Challenge asks, the Steam Next Fest got me thinking about its cultural predecessor, the demo disc. While bringing back the demo disc seems like it wouldn't be super viable or worthwhile, if for no other reason than the resources that would have to go towards production and the sheer quantity of demos available during the Next Fest. Do you have any memorable experiences with game demos past or present? And if you were to put a bunch of demos on one disc, what would they be? Would you add any promotional videos? CG menus? That's a lot. For me, I when I was younger, I got those PS1 Pizza Hut demo discs. I remember those. But the number one most memorable demo experience was Left 4 Dead 2's. Because you could just run through, I think it was like the first 2 chapters of the last mission in Left 4 Dead 2 over and over. And I played that to death because I loved Left 4 Dead and I loved Left 4 Dead 2. I played Left 4 Dead 2 so fucking much on my Xbox 360. That was a big deal. I played that demo to death. How about the rest of y'all? What were the big demos for you?
Oh God. I mean, I still remember buying a actual good game in Zone of the Enders just for a demo. I had every single one of those, the PlayStation demo discs, the old OPM and stuff like that. I had so many of those. I may have sent a big folder of them to Giant Bomb at one point, back when they were doing that. Just like, God, I can't remember the one I probably spent the most time in. Can't really think of one I actually spent a lot of time in, just because, like, demos are demos.
Mm-hmm.
God, there was one of them that had a demo for Jet Moto that it had like 2 stages, and I played those levels like 100 times over. And then I bought Jet Moto because that game ruled.
There you go. Maverick, how about yourself?
I mean, I definitely have like very early memories of whenever I would go to like a Circuit City or a Walmart, just the towering little screen for a GameCube or a PS2, and just like load up the GameCube demo disc, load up your jam pack, and that would be how I got a lot of my early just like tastes of gaming in. Like that's how I learned about Pikmin for the first time. I have very fond memories of the Katamari demo that I sucked at, had no idea how to actually like make use of, and it wasn't until years later where I'm like, oh, I remember this. Actually, I do like this game. Like I appreciate especially like how curated those would be of just like, okay, here's everything that's going to come out like in the next like cycle. Let's try and drum up some of that like curiosity. Let's try and drum up some of that like appeal. And I mean, even in like the transition to the 360 and PS3 era, once those started getting phased out, it was such a like unfortunate thing. Just the actual like kiosks that would be available, because it's like my like elementary school age self would like wander into the GameStop, see like it would just be the full game for Arkham Asylum available, like loaded up on like a PS3 and like, you know, maybe started back to the beginning once like the next day rolls around. But if you're a kid like me, you've got like 3 to 5 hours to kill. You're getting through a good chunk of that game. And I even had like a GameStop employee like shoo me away because it's like, you can't like just be giving away that much game. I played Punch-Out on Wii basically for free because of the fact that, again, it's like, I'm helping out by giving, and I think that too, it's like, demo discs were a good way of having sort of like the natural, like, playing and just like demonstration of a game to other people too. So it's like, oh, this kid, you know, is just constantly loading up this like segment of, I don't know, Sly Cooper. Seems really neat. Might like that for my kid. So like, it was such a natural way to like actually have a little bit of that like inner communal like recommendation and just like oh god, the word is slipping by me and I'm trying to like actually remember, like curation. There we go. Like an actual curation of like what would be something that a kid would want from seeing like somebody else get into it. But yeah, I just it's hard to do that when there is no central hub like that anymore. And I would love for that to return in some capacity. Like, I mean, last time I've been to, say, a, like, or even, like, when I went to, like, a Bic camera, like a Yodobashi camera over in, like, Tokyo, you know, the most you're getting is just, like, game footage of whatever the next most immediate, like, or even, like, the storefronts. It's like, okay, our next big thing is Monster Hunter, so we're just throwing a video of that. We're doing, like, loops of video for the Ace Attorney collection. We're doing video of the most recent Pokemon game. Like, it's all stuff that is current, but then it's like, there's never anything that's a little bit off the beaten path. Again, the closest thing right now is the, like, press cycle for Brothership, but even then, that's still something that has, like, not the biggest stock in it. Like, the demo discs were super fun because you could just like stumble into something that you were probably never gonna get a chance to like touch. And
yeah,
I appreciate having the opportunity to do that, especially like more and more this reliance on an algorithm to give you stuff that at the same time it's like always going to be in line with what your tastes already are. It's much rarer to have a still curated but much more like splayed out opportunity to try stuff. Like the other equivalent would be like the Haunted demo disc that I see come through like every Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff.
God, I kind of miss the old weird GameStop stuff, like where they had their own like bad TV show that they would always run on a video screen in the middle of the store.
We would see old Keeley up on the screen talking about whatever the fuck.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it was, at first, it was, like, presented by Game Trailers, and then Game Trailers went away, and it just became this weird, like, GameStop TV. Oh.
Very strange.
Yeah, that, your Tommy Tallaricos with, like, Electric Playground and all that.
Yeah.
God, I kind of miss the days when there was all that dog shit video game television.
They tried to bring it back, but it did not take off. Probably because, you know, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think they fucked up by trying to do a bunch of, like, influencer game shows and shit and, like, flying a bunch of people in instead of just talking about video games. Like, honestly, I think if G4 did come back and they were just like, hey, we're just going to have people on to talk about video games, I think it probably would have succeeded.
Mm-hmm. Instead of just, like, some weird rich guys, like, ego trip.
You could still fly Germa out. Still, like get Germa in there just to do something stupid. That's what I would want to see, but I don't need the rest of those people. Like, just get Germa on a stage, do stupid shit like once a week, and then otherwise just talk about games. We're good. that's a TV. That's an entire channel right there.
Just
that's
give Germa his own show.
Yeah, just give him a fucking budget and let him go nuts. Because he does cool shit when you give him a budget. Like, just be like, yeah, man, here's $100K.
God, when he did that real life sim shit.
The real life sims, the baseball game, the fucking wrestling video, like, just, yeah.
Just let Germa.
Yeah, like, instead of paying all that money to fly a bunch of dumbass influencers to not be funny, like, invest in people, like invest in people who will talk about games in ways that people will find entertaining. You know, because, like, fucking, you know, X-Play has aged like shit, but it was novel to just have people on TV expressing opinions about games as an art form, and I think that we have as an art form advanced enough that I think that, like, we could have those kinds of conversations, like, you know, people like Ebert would have, and on, you know, talking about movies, you know, or, like, you know, the inside the actor studio, we could have people talking in front of a camera. You know, you could talk to developers and musicians and all that, talking about their contributions to games. You know, it doesn't just always have to be podcasts. Like, as much as I fucking love doing podcasts, it would be cool to see these people.
Yeah. Even just to see them more involved, like, as much as I like the expansion of a lot of companies doing, like, the, hey, you know, people saw what Square was doing with Final Fantasy and started doing that themselves.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I like that, I like it more when there's more voices in the room that aren't just the companies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest problem with all of those, is just like, yes, you're getting a little bit of behind the scenes stuff that's interesting and stuff like that, but it's also, like, I don't want to say less, it's a little less, but it feels like you're getting less, you know, there's you're never getting anything, like, really interesting from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot about how a lot of the people who I think are very making the waves in the sort of, like, not just the immediate game space, but also in just the actual, like, games as commentary, games as just a focus of media communications. A lot of that comes from other inspirations. And, you know, it's the folks who look at streaming not just as an opportunity to sort of, like, immediately live blog, but also the places where it's, like, dipping into public access TV as a source of inspiration. The folks who look at gaming as a way to, like, have that commentary. I mean, in Tokyo, I was in the Yami Yami store, and they had Game Center CX merch.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole little section of just, like, Arino and commemorating, like, the live anniversary, commemorating, like, all these other things. Like, such an immediate example of somebody that figured it out and was able to do it in such a way that, like, is so immediately, like, reticent to people, and is, like, it just resonates in such a way where, yeah, like, you can just go and get a little standee or, like, a little sticker of him, because people want that, and people recognize that connection of, like, this person talking about and experiencing games in a way that makes me feel just as satisfied, if not more interested, than in, like, how that relationship continues.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, if you have money, hit us up.
Yeah, let Gamesline TV.
Let's figure it out. And to kind of wrap this question up, I mean, those kinds of videos would be the stuff that you would see on those CDs back in the day. So, yeah, that would be the kind of stuff if we were doing those sorts of things. But again, I think it would be cool to have that on TV, or, you know, have like dedicated YouTube channels that presented that stuff in a digestible way. Because like, you know, as like, you know, I just praised NoClip, but thinking about presenting that stuff in TV size bites, I think would help out a lot.
Yeah. Didn't NoClip get that at one point?
I don't
like they
know.
had like a they had like a
I don't recall.
I think it was right before G4 shut down. The new G4. They gave them like a weird show that was like really kind of cool. It was like shorter NoClip things.
Yeah, that would be nice, but yeah. All right, we got one last question here, and it's from Niall. If you all recall Niall from the early days of Gamesline, he sent us a question that is, which of the Costco guys' crew do you think is the best rapper based on their hit single "We Bring the Boom"?
I'm sorry, what?
The Costco guys.
Oh my god, Niall, you've been like, he's been pilled. Like,
this is making me very, very glad I don't spend that much time on social media or YouTube or anything.
You just don't get it.
It's very funny that Niall will, like, for better and for worse, find things that are kind of just like other cultural Borats of the world. Just these obelisks of pain.
Are the Costco guys, is one of them doing something for like AEW?
Yes.
Okay, so I have some knowledge, and that's because I read Cage Side Seats like 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yes. They did release a song where they talk about bringing the boom and other such topics. I think there's a version. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't like fully keep up with what the Costco guys are doing, but I did see a clip recently where they were, I think, recording a new version of this song, and Santa was there. And like, I know
the holiday version.
I don't even know if it was. It didn't even seem to be a holiday version. I think they did record a holiday song, but Santa was also there when they were recording like a new version of the a new regular song. Like, he was just there in the background.
Yeah, no, they're doing like the holiday, whatever. See.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's they had a song that was like this. The song was them just being like, "Hey, we're not just doing the We Bring the Boom song. We have other songs we're gonna sing," and it was not a holiday song. They just did a new song, and Santa was there. Like, they did a holiday song after, but Santa was there for their regular song too. So is Santa, like, involved in the Costco guys, like, beyond the holiday cheer? Or is it just, like, he was there and they didn't tell him to leave? And so he was just like, well, I'm still here. They're still having me dance. I'm getting paid. Because he was there.
I'm trying to remember if it was, like, this year that the initial, like, we're Costco guys. Of course we... It
was this year, yes.
Wow, it is incredible to see just like the trajectory of consistent like popularity, because nothing ever lasts past a year at this point. Like, TikTok in particular is such a just conveyor belt of slop that to have something so like persistent. I mean, part of it is that Big AJ is a wrestler, for better and for worse, and very much for worse when you see some of the pageantry that comes up with like working with his kid and all that, and you dig deeper into the fact that he's been at this whole deal for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just it's a level of dedication that I hope Big Justice has the ability to process in a therapeutic setting, and that I hope the Rizzler also has space to worry about. I will say people are kind of weird about to put it bluntly, people are weird about a fat 8-year-old being a fat 8-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it as a former fat 8-year-old. Yeah, that's how chubby kids are usually before puberty hits and things start to not immediately work things out, but also he's a little 5'5" munchkin, will probably grow to 6'2", get some of that weight redistributed, would benefit from, maybe living a little bit of healthier lifestyle. I don't know how his family leads stuff, but also that's stuff for later, because right now he's the
Rizzler.
He's the Rizzler. That is how a kid with a lot of baby fat in the face is gonna just, have fun.
I legitimately feel like I've gotten dumber over the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I just linked the video. I'm telling you, Santa is just in this video. I don't get it. He's with the Rizzler
guys.
And his family. So is Santa related to the Rizzler? Is this something that we we found out that the Rizzler is actually Santa's great grandson? Is that the revelation that we have learned here? Perhaps
he's just rizzling so hard.
I mean, I can imagine, Santa doing the Riz face. Oh, and also we got to shout out that they had the Costco guys on Jimmy Fallon. Yeah. And Jimmy Fallon looked like he wanted to fucking kill somebody the whole time. They kept doing they were talking about giving their boom ratings, and every time they did that, Jimmy Fallon he was seconds away from leaning over and strangling a child. It was fucking insane. It was incredible television.
The big thing of this that I take away from is if anything, if TikTok were not as pervasive to the culture, the immediate stand-in for a monoculture that we have now, these would just be some folks from Boca Raton doing a bit that would just be the local town bit, and that'd be the most of it, little Riz face, little Rudy is doing his Rizzler bit. He's gonna join the football team soon. He's gonna get ready for that. It would be so much more self-contained, but because the drive for celebrity is so ever present that literally you it's a little bit of luck, but then it's so much effort to the point that it is sad sometimes.
Yeah.
To be consistent in the public eye, that to to have a whole family kind of just vying for pieces of that pie is, it's sad in the way that a Tim and Eric skit can also feel sometimes. Can't also knock that out of the way because it just feels like such a very specific level of vapid.
That is the perfect summation of what all this feels like to me, is a Tim and Eric bit.
Yes.
It feels like a Tim and Eric bit. I do not know how. It
100% is. It is just these extremely over the top characters who are their main their main personality traits are their appreciation for deals at a store and that they're Italian. And they're extremely successful based on those two things. And that's it. It's you think about fucking David Liebhart, and it's he's just a kind of weird religious dude who is horrible at being a puppeteer. And he's just, there's just layers to just how weird this guy is. And it's like, yeah, there's layers to these Costco guys. It's like, yeah, this guy's a fucking ex-wrestler now kind of coming back to being a wrestler because his TikTok blew up where him and his son talked about how much they love Costco.
But then you also kind of dig a little bit deeper, and it's like, no, this guy has constantly been trying to seek some level of clout or fame, and it's like, oh man, I'm digging, like, I do not dig deep into those wells, but when you really get down to it, it is such a... I mean, I think it's a really good summation of just where things are at in the current, like, United States landscape of, the escapism of just having things that are affordable and doing silly stuff. Again, I also think about just everything surrounding the Rizzler and Baby Gronk in relation to all this, where...
That shit is, like, okay, because the thing is that, like, with the Costco guys and the Rizzler, like, obviously we can't say 100% what is going on behind the scenes, but just from, like, first blush, you look at this and it's like, it still has this feeling of this is just a family doing goofy shit online. It doesn't, like, there's probably some aspect to it that's a little harmful, but overall it's just like, alright, this is just a family doing whatever the fuck, whatever. They're probably there's at least a chance that there isn't something truly evil happening behind the scenes. Meanwhile, everything with Baby Gronk, like, as soon as you look at it, you're just like, oh, this child is going through some serious shit. This is not healthy. He's out there trying to, like, ask the Rizzler to, like, do battle against him when the Rizzler is just, he's just some, like, 8-year-old. Like, he's just an 8-year-old acting like an 8-year-old. And Baby Gronk is out here just being like, I need to prove that I am better than him at football. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have a lot of, like, should I go back to grad school for therapy, I can probably have a lot of success with what's going to come through. But all that said, what was the question again? What was Niall fucking asking about again?
Who is the best on the We Bring the Boom song? I mean, I'm just gonna say it. Rizzler's line, where he says that him, Big Justice and Big AJ all look like they're the different stages of a Pokemon evolution, is the funniest fucking thing in the world because it's 100% true.
Yeah.
It is still so fucking funny though that, like, they
Are you sure this isn't a Tim and Eric bit?
I mean, it is, but it's also not. It's real. But it's still the funniest fucking thing in the world that, it was like, it's like a family TikTok. But then they also just had this random child who is the Rizzler also start appearing on their TikToks. Like, they're not even related. He's just there. It's very good. I'm sorry. It's very funny. The Costco guys. Like, yeah, there's probably some aspect to it that's a little shady, but, like, I don't know. I can't help but kind of love it still.
Yeah.
They bring the boom. Innocent until proven guilty, I guess, is how I would put it. Like, let's see how it shakes out.
Let's see what happens once Big Justice is having to deal with, like, high school.
Mm-hmm.
I legitimately feel like my brain is broken right now.
Well, you'll have time to fix it.
I mean, all of ours are.
Yeah, they are.
That's the thing.
They are, is the thing, yeah.
We've all been poisoned by Baby Gronk and the Rizzler.
My medicine is Pongzai, is the thing.
Yeah, I do not accept Baby Gronk into my heart. I mean, other than the fact that I hope that as soon as he turns 18, he gets the fuck away from his family. Like that's what I hope.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah,
anyway,
God, fuck
anyway.
this whole celebrity culture.
Yeah, it's wild.
It sucks. It's awful. Do not chase celebrity. It is not worth it.
It's not worth it.
If you find yourself wanting to have an audience and to find people to attend to, that is one thing, and I think it is a whole other conversation to be had. But we also, here at Gamesline, have examples of folks who chase that for better purposes, and at least are much better at the aspect of building community out of it. Vertical video sucks, and the sooner we can do away with it, the better, I think, as a society.
YouTube Shorts, literally a plague.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what if TikTok, but worse?
Anyway, make sure to check out our podcast snippets when they get posted on TikTok or YouTube Shorts sometimes.
That's right.
I still am just like, I do love scrolling YouTube Shorts sometimes and playing the game of when will I come, how many times will it take me to scroll down and run into the first video of a TV show clip with royalty-free music playing over the top.
Number one. But yes, thank you so much for listening, everybody. This is a fun episode. Thank you so much for recording with me, Lorelai and Maverick. Folks, if you want to continue listening to our stuff, the website is gamesline.net. You can head over there, check it out. We're posting sometimes. We have our Twitter account, which, the way things are going, there's a chance that won't be the case forever. But if you're still using Twitter, it's at the Gamesline. If you are one of the many people who are moving over to Blue Sky, we have our Blue Sky account, which is gamesline.net. You just look that up on Blue Sky. It's right there. We have our Tumblr, gamesline.tumblr.com, if you're someone who's moving to Tumblr for whatever reason. If you're still on Facebook, facebook.com/gamesline. If you're on YouTube, it's youtube.com/@thegamesline. And our Twitch is twitch.tv/gameslinetv. If you want to support us, it's just $3 a month for our Patreon, patreon.com/gamesline. And if you are subscribed to us, make sure it's not through iTunes or through the iPhone app, because then Apple is taking a cut and we don't see it. Nobody sees it other than Apple. So just go on to the website, patreon.com/gamesline, and subscribe there, because then the money will go to us instead of Apple. We have our Discord server, thegamezone.zone. Type that into your web browser, bring you straight there. And thank you to Melt Channel /Magic Circuit for our theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. Lorelai, where can people find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Judgment Scythe and Judgment Scythe Blue Sky. The Blue Sky as well. I'm done with Twitter, so that's it. I deleted the app and everything. But yeah, find me there. I'm back to streaming regularly. I'm going to be playing through Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance because John won't shut the fuck up about how good it is, and I need to find out.
It's good.
Good. I'm excited.
Yeah, because I'm right.
Other than that, yeah, come hang out at my streams. Say hi.
Mm-hmm. Maverick, how about yourself?
I'm still kicking on Twitter for a bit, at Maverick Drifter. I have a Blue Sky. It's just Maverick.
It's pretty good. You got that.
I know, right? It was pretty early on. But, yeah, I don't know. I haven't really been posting because I keep busy other ways, but I think getting to the new year, curious about maybe doing more and just figuring out like what that looks like for me. Because, I don't know. I mentioned it before that like it's easy to feel like I just have like my work regularly and then I just zone out for like 8 hours of a time. To try and fit more in between, that is something I'm curious to have more options for.
Mm-hmm. And, I'm also still kind of on Twitter at John_MICHONSKI. But no, I'm also kind of trying to use Blue Sky more because it's nice. That's johnmachon.bsky.social on there. I might hop on using the Gamesline domain just because I think that's cool. But I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But otherwise, no, thank you so much for listening, everybody. Hopefully we can figure out getting more episodes out because I'm ready to talk about games. And I know you all are ready to hear about it.
Yeah.
So please, thank you for listening, and we will be back soon with another episode of the Gamesline Podcast.